All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to tackle a part of English grammar that, let's be honest, can be a real headache. But, and this is a big but, it's absolutely essential if you want to sound natural. We're talking about modal verbs.
So, how do we even begin to get a handle on these things? Well, let's start with a little puzzle. I'm about to show you a couple of sentences, and what I want you to do is just focus on one specific highlighted word in each one. Ready? Okay, first up, here's the sentence. I must know everything about them. See that word must? It's not just a simple action, right? It's adding this whole other layer of meaning, like a really strong sense of obligation or necessity.
And now, how about this one? That might take a long time. See how that one little word, might, completely changes the feel of the sentence. It takes a straightforward idea and injects a sense of possibility, maybe even a little bit of uncertainty.
So what's the connection? Well, you probably guessed it, they're all modal verbs. And that's exactly what they do. Their whole job is to add extra information, things like possibility, ability, or obligation to the main verb. And let me tell you, mastering these is like unlocking a superpower for sounding fluent in English. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to cover the basic grammar rules. Then we'll dive into the really tricky part, what they actually mean. We'll do a little case study on the word can, I'll give you 3 golden rules to live by, and we'll wrap up with a quick bonus look at their close cousins, the semimodals.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, the basic rules. We've got to start with the foundation, the essential grammar that makes these things tick.
Okay, so here they are, the big 9. Can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, and must. The absolute best way to think about them is as helper verbs. They can't really stand on their own. Their entire purpose in life is to jump in and change or add to the meaning of the main verb in a sentence. Now here's the good news. Grammatically, these guys are super predictable. They follow 3 unbreakable rules. It's great. Rule number 1, they are always followed by the simple base form of a verb. No to. So it's I can go, not I can to go. Rule 2, they never change. No S for he or she, no ED for the past, they just stay the same. And third, when you want to make a question or a negative sentence, you just work directly with the modal. It's can you, not do you can. Simple as that. Okay, moving on to section 2, the meaning matrix. We've got the grammar down, which is the easy part. Now, let's get to the real challenge. This is where things get, well, interesting. And it's exactly why just looking these words up in a dictionary is not going to work. This right here is probably the biggest trap that learners fall into. It's so tempting, right? You see 9 verbs and you think, awesome, I just have to memorize 9 meanings and I'm done. But, yeah, as the slide says, nope, it is just not that simple. The reality is actually more like this complex web. Take a single modal, like must. It can mean obligation or it can mean certainty, 2 totally different ideas. And then you flip it around. You take one idea, like possibility, and you find out it can be expressed by 4 different modals, can, could, may, and might. It's this messy many-to-many relationship. And honestly, just understanding that it's messy, is the key. All right, section 3, a case study on can. To make this whole idea less abstract and a little more real, let's just zoom in and put one of the most common modals of all, can, right under the microscope. And wow, this slide just lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? We've got 4 sentences here. The word is the same every time, can or can't. But look at the meaning. It is completely different in each case. We go from ability, to certainty, to general possibility, to asking for permission. That's 4 totally separate ideas, all coming from one tiny little word. It's kind of wild when you think about it. Okay, section 4, 3 golden rules. So you're probably thinking, given all this chaos, how on earth do you actually master these things? Well, the secret isn't about memorizing endless lists. It's about changing your entire mindset. So here they are. These are the 3 rules you need to adopt. First, and this is a big one, stop trying to translate them word for word. They just don't map cleanly onto other languages. It doesn't work. Second, context is everything. It is king. The situation, the words around the modal, that's what tells you if can means permission or if it means ability. And third, you have to treat the different meanings of a single modal verb as if they are completely separate, unconnected words. Seriously. Just to give it as a weird coincidence that they happen to look and sound the same. All right, we're on to our last section, section 5, and it's a little bonus, semimodals.
Let's take a quick peek at a related group of words that can add yet another layer of nuance to your English. So, what are semimodals? Well, words like have to or be able to, they basically do the same job as modals. They add meaning to other verbs. So what's the difference? The key difference is that they don't follow all those strict grammar rules we talked about earlier. For example, have to actually changes for tense. You can totally say, I had to go yesterday.
And this is where it gets really cool, I think. The difference between a real modal and a semimodal can be so subtle, but so powerful. Think about this. If I say, we should be there at 10, that's my opinion, my advice. But if I say, we're supposed to be there at 10, see the difference? Now it sounds like there's an external rule, an expectation from someone else. It completely changes who the authority is in the sentence. It's a tiny change with a huge impact on meaning.
So, if there's one thing you take away from all of this, it's that context is king. You have to stop looking for that one simple translation, because it just doesn't exist. Really mastering modal verbs is all about understanding the situation, not just memorizing a list of words. Which brings me to my final question for you. Now that you have this framework, what's the one modal verb that still challenges you the most? Think about it.